All right, welcome in everybody to Wednesday's edition of Daily Bread, coming at you live right at 1 p.m. on the East Coast. So throw in those earbuds, set your do not disturb on work or whatever the hell you want to do. We got a half hour coming up of the top plays in soccer, MLB, and the NBA. We will be joined by Spin Doc himself. He doesn't need much of an introduction when we bring him on because you've seen him with us left and right on here through Paid for Play, Sunday Morning Quarterbacks, and
Daily bread
Daily
staple.
Bread. As usual, powered and sponsored by the Wise Guys Diamond Club. Be sure to be checking them out with the second round of the NBA cooking up soon. It's no better time to be in there. We're live on Twitter at Daily Bread Media. Make sure to give us a like, a follow, and a retweet there. Still can't show your comments. It is what it is. StreamYard and Twitter, I don't think they're ever going to work out the beef. We keep rolling through it. Hop over to our YouTube page. That's where we can feature you, drop your best bets, ask us any questions, and we can reply to that one quickly. The Nuggets will not win tonight. We got a main man, Evan, in here who comes on through like 5 different burners. And we got all our other usuals. If it's your first time, welcome in. Good one to be joining. Sorry for no show yesterday. That one's on me. Don't yell at Sosa. Sosa, how we doing? Are we nervous? We doing good?
I mean, nothing to be nervous about, man. We don't play till tomorrow, but we got a couple of games tonight. Obviously, I'm not nervous in regards to the Liverpool match, if that's what you're referring to in any capacity. I'm not nervous. Just you got to be prepared for a guy who's very familiar with Premier League teams and who has proven to be quite the guy. I mean, quite the coach over the last few years at Villarreal. So it is what it is.
Last night, Jaws dunk just basically still been going viral. I baseball overs were soaring yesterday. Anything you want to talk about? We already got 50 plus people tapped in with us, so we can almost just get right into it. But anything you want to highlight?
Not particularly, man. Minnesota, it sucks because we're big time ant guys. But it's just a tough way for them to go out, man. Carl Anthony Towns, he played pretty well, but just I'm heartbroken because Ant Edwards had no business trying to go for a steal on the last play of the game, and it's very reminiscent of that Paul George play with LeBron where he took a bad angle and he just got a runway to the basket. Felt bad for Ant, especially seeing that he hit the three to tie the game on like a perfectly executed play that was drawn up absolutely perfectly.
I
Just a
think
tough.
if
It was a tough
Cat
one.
went one last time through the legs on that play, they probably would have won the game.
It's like I said, man. Just I feel for the kid because we know how much he wants to win, and just to go out that way is just like I said, it was tough. But John and them took it home, and they look to close it out on the road. It's going to be interesting to see the ending of this uh, of this series.
Yes, sir. Shout out to all of our commenters talking in the chat. I mean, you guys can collab on plays whenever the hell you want. Screen cap your best play when it wins. Tag us. We always retweet it. But let's get into today's action. We're going to go one Champions League match, one Serie A match. Then we'll bring on Spin Doc for the MLB. And then we'll wrap it up with probably the 2 closeout games in the NBA. So Sosa, we got Liverpool laying a nice goal and a half at minus 120 total, sitting at 2.5 extremely juicy. You got to play that Asian handicap 2.75 if you don't want to pay an extreme amount.
The 1.5 is
run away with it easy money.
That's so disrespectful, man. That is so disrespectful.
How when the talent is that much in a disparity at home in Anfield, where you're talking about you can't score, it's the toughest place to play. You got to be laying a minus 350 and a goal and a half. It's what City would be laying against Villarreal. So unless you don't think you're as good as City,
I'm going the contrary. I do feel we're good as City, but City's not going up against a guy who just seems to be a specialist in these types of situations. I'm going to go the contrarian route, and I'm going to go with the first half draw today at plus 160. I think we win the game, but I think we run away with it late. I think that Unai's done a great job of, like I said, having his team prepared for these moments, and he's just become a specialist in these situations. They've been devoid of talent every round that they've been in this tournament, but they figured out a way to get through every single one. That shows extreme resolve, and they know their identity as a team. They're just going to fight. We are better, but I think Unai can keep 45 minutes in the books and keep them in it.
I was about to say, I like that as your contrarian angle. I mean, the team total listed for Villarreal, you can get it at even for if they're even going to score. And if you just look, and Liverpool has just been 1-0. They let up a few bunches, but then more often than not, they've been 1-0. That's kind of where I wouldn't mess around with that total, because I think Liverpool might win this one 2-0 exactly, just because I don't want to bet the under on Villarreal. If you had to force me there, maybe they show up on the score sheet, but I think this ends 2-0. My action comes in the Serie A match. Liverpool team, see, everyone's thinking they're just going to run away with it. Don't have that. Got to have short-term memory. Forget that 4-3 match yesterday.
Right, and I'm a fan, and I can't say it, man. I can't get on that boat.
Yeah, 2-1. I could see it as well. I like what the current comment we have up here says. I agree with that. All right, now Big Game James is putting money on what I'm leaning. It is what it is.
Let's go.
All right, let's get to the Inter versus Bologna match. So Bologna is at home here, and every other season, if you know Inter, especially when they're going late in the year to take, because this is their game in hand match, they can jump Milan in the table. They always draw to these low-level teams. You basically got the same exact numbers from the Liverpool match here. So I'm taking Bologna plus 1.5 at minus 110. So that's where if Inter wins this match by 1, I can still be happy they're top of the table and get my cash. But something's telling me to draw at plus 445 isn't the worst look. Bologna, they've drawn 3 of their past 4 matches, and they won the other one. They've drawn against Milan, so they're in a current hot streak. Sure, maybe it finally comes to an end for the mid-table team, but I think Bologna comes out with a point, unfortunately.
All right, I love it, man. Serie A Rex back in the house. Let's get it.
Yep, Bologna plus 1.5, minus 110. Hopefully, Inter wins this match by a goal. Let's get into the MLB. Let's bring in our guest. I forgot to go to the Serie A ticker, but there it is. Now, make sure to give us a like, subscribe, retweet wherever you're watching us. Really helps us out. We appreciate it. Spin Doc Sports might be the longest hiatus you have of 2 weeks that you haven't been on the show.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's been a little minute, man.
Yeah. What's going on? Welcome.
I was about to say, it's weird. I was trying to get up an intro, but
you're good.
If you're following him on Twitter,
You're good.
You can see all
people who watch this show know who I am. Let's just move on to the
bring
game.
perfectly to light here when he lets us know the K prop, when he's just breaking down pitchers. If he doesn't have a play on it, when he's leaning it, he dives into each one of these games with his fancy charts that he shares with the Diamond Club members and with the Tap Play on Twitter. There we go. That was a good one.
Love it. Thank you. And yes, I have many a stats right in front of me right now. The fancy chart's done for the day.
The fancy chart that no one understands but you.
It's all filled out.
Well, unfortunately, we'll have to miss the Cardinals-Mets game as first pitch just occurred, but we got the rest of the slate, the best bets, because the next one doesn't go off for another hour. Sosa, where are we starting on the slate?
We are on the Nerfy train to start in the next game up. No runs first inning. It's a little bit juiced at minus 140. I really would prefer to parlay it with something, but I just don't see either team scoring. Cease and Greinke, I think they both get out the first inning clean. I think it's an easy cash. You don't pay juice when you win.
You do not. But yeah, with from a pitcher's perspective, Cease for sure. Royals swing metrics have just been absolutely awful lately. And Zach Greinke has the distinction of being the only MLB starter this year, and I would think in the last 2 years, to have a walk rate higher than a strikeout rate, but he's still pitching well. Think about that, right? Like most pitchers have strikeout rates in the 20s, 25%, somewhere around there. Greinke has a walk rate higher than a strikeout rate as of this moment, but yet he's still managing to get guys out. It's crazy.
Yeah, and he's making the worst $12 million a team has ever spent.
No kidding.
I think obviously the Dodgers, that's the next game I'm going to. All the early start games, I'm on them. The Dodgers, we're going to go with their team total immediately over 4.5. Everybody's expecting a letdown. Listen, when these bats get hot, there are no letdowns. They're facing Gallen today, Urias. The only place he doesn't pitch well is Coors Field. I think we saw that. He's just awful there. He's settled in. It looks like the top of the rotation for the Dodgers will settle in pretty nicely. Obviously, Walker Buehler, complete game, looked outstanding the other night. Day start for this team, a noon start. I'm going with the Los Angeles Dodgers team total over 4.5, minus 106. And I'm also rolling with them on the first 5 run line again. And that's going to be at minus half a run at minus 114. I talk about the Dodgers a lot. Obviously, they're going to win the most games in baseball. They're going to win you the most money. They're going to score the most runs. Betting them frequently is a normal occurrence. You just have to know where and when to find the value. So those are my 2 other official plays for the early games. I'm looking at one more Nerfy, but we'll let Spin Doctor get into some of what he's liking today and what you checked out as far as these matchups have told you.
Yeah, for the Dodgers and D-backs game, a pretty strong lean here on the first 5 under. You have 2 pitch. Well, Gallen for sure has actually been pretty lights out so far this year. He's also got a 34% lifetime K percentage against the Dodgers lineup he's facing today. Urias started a little slow, starting to come on right now, but Gallen has just been like really, really lights out at home. So for me, I am liking the first 5 under here quite a bit. So that would be my only thing from the early games, and then I got more once we get to the late slate.
All right, what game you want to get into?
The one that I want to go to here would be either a first 5 or a full game over on the Braves and the Cubs. So Charlie Morton on the mound. He's got very, very average metrics against the Cubs lifetime, and Leiter Jr. on the mound for the Cubs. But the big thing here is with the mix of pitches that these guys throw, they have who I feel is the patron saint of hitters umpires, and that is Alfonso Marquez. He has one of the lowest strikeout percentages, one of the highest walk percentages across all MLB umps. Runs per game are way up above normal, and when he's umpiring a game, runs just typically get scored. So with a guy like Leiter Jr., who has shown some average stuff, his overall pitch mix is okay. Both teams are swinging pretty aggressively right now. They are struggling with some contact for pitches outside the zone because the Braves, are 30th, which is dead last. And the Braves are 16th, which is right in the middle. But this is where the umpire comes into play, because when you have an ump that's this far to the extreme, like Marquez, you can lay off a lot of pitches and pick up a lot of extra extra balls to get into hitters counts. So the first 5 over right now is 4.5 at -114 on FanDuel. I do like that one for sure.
All right. So Sosa, one of our favorite pitchers, the fade, is up on the mound today because we're going to spend a decent amount in the MLB, and we haven't gotten to this one here just because the 2 NBA games, they might be a wrap pretty quickly. It's Fetty night on the mound tonight, but surprisingly, he owns a 4-0 record against the Fish and with a 1.43 ERA. So then you start looking at the totals for the Marlins. Their first half team total sitting at 1.5, and that's all the way at -140. Their full game total is at 3.5 at juiced -130. So I think we just have to stay away with it, even though with Pablo Lopez on the mound. So I know he's your guy.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Cashed this out yesterday, first 5. We're going to do it again today. Pablo, and listen, their entire rotation has been solid. Roger's been solid. The whole crew. Like, it's not just Pablo's been good, so's Alcantara. That the Marlins are a team that no one really knows, I guess, the guys on the roster, but they're not like their rotation's solid. Their rotation's going to give them a lot of opportunities to win games, especially to keep them in the first 5 of a lot of them. I'm going first 5 run line Fish again, -105.
Yep.
If Pablo versus Fetty, all I need is 1 run because Pablo could keep this lineup down to nothing. Outside of Juan Soto's getting pitched around every single night. Like, teams aren't even pitching to him. They're not even giving him anything to look at because the rest of the lineup is so trash.
Yeah, I totally agree with that one. Lopez has just been dominant so far this year in every advanced metric that you can come up with. And with Fetty, 4-0, but when you look at his pitch chart, when you look at his the stuff that he's throwing, it's really not that much different than last year. And he's had a few seasons where started off reasonably hot, but then, I mean, he always regresses to the Fetty norm. And as far as like, will that happen today? Will it start to happen next month? Usually right around the May to June timeframe is when it starts to happen. So, I faded Fetty a ton last year for K props. Don't know if I'll be on him one way or the other today. Excuse me. But, I mean, so far this year, even though he has had a pretty sparkling record wise, I mean, the guy has still, I mean, he's walked 5 batters in 3 starts, and he has a game score of 42. Now, for those that don't know what game score is, it's an advanced metric where basically you start with 50 points and then you get points added or taken away based on things that are within the pitcher's control. So it's kind of like a variant of FIP. And so 50 is considered average for a pitcher. And so this is where you got to go deeper than stuff like record and ERA too, because his game score is only 42. And he's given up multiple earned runs in each start. In fact, he gave up 6 last time when he got hammered, and he's given up multiple home runs. So hard hit contact is right where we normally see it for Fetty. This is one of those things with Fetty where I think you're just kind of waiting for the dam to burst. And once it bursts, then he can go on a string where he has a string of like 5, 6, I mean, just really, really atrocious starts. So will that be today? I think there's a chance it could be. But when you put him against Pablo Lopez, who has just been absolutely dominant so far, yeah, that's not even a question.
And again, I keep saying it too. Soto is just getting pitched around. They're not even throwing him strikes. They're pitching around him because the lineup is ass. If he has no help and he's out there, you can see him start getting impatient. He needs to get the fuck out of Washington. I'm going to start the free Juan Soto campaign here in the next couple months. But I don't like the way that's going.
I got one official play in the MLB today. And I'm going to take the Astros on the run line at +145. And it's a fade of Otto here. And I just think he had a clean start to start the year. I just think it's waiting to burst. His last start against Houston in September of 2021. He gave up 7 hits, 7 runs. He just got spanked in that one. 4 walks as well. I think we see something similar today in Texas.
Vladdy's going to hit a bomb tonight. +265. Vladdy to hit a bomb.
I will also add on and a little bit of a hometown pick here, but Twins are rolling. I mean, they've won 4 in a row. They get Mike Pineda, who used to pitch for them, and they get multiple guys that know him pretty well inside and out. So right now for the Twins, I actually like that, even though it's a little juicy at -0.5, I do like the Twins run line at -132. I wouldn't go a full unit on it. I'd go like 0.75 or maybe a half unit on it for the Twins run line, first 5.
Mets already scored in the first inning against the Cardinals.
No, they didn't.
No, they did. Okay, hold on.
No.
My book says they did.
So this is from the future today, potentially.
Yeah. Let's say I'm watching it because we're on a K-prop in that game.
Yeah.
Oh shit! No, I misread it because my bad.
So Spin, are you dropping the K-prop, or they gotta follow you to get that later?
Not quite yet. I'm down to 3 guys, 2 primarily, but that'll be out on Twitter in the next few hours. Yeah, I tried to get it done, but there's just a few things that I'm waiting for from umpire.
And then the last thing
I never even thought about looking at umpires until you started talking about it. I was like, I never ever once thought of that, man. Ever.
They're the only type of officials that have that type of outcome on a specific
control,
type of
right?
prop and play.
Angel Hernandez, man.
But today, a lot of low totals after what we saw last night. All I gotta say.
Yeah, you noticed that, huh? Not a single one over 9.
Nope.
Not one. Yeah, under 7.5, under 7.5, under 8.
If you know, you know, right?
Yeah. They're trying
Spin
to take
anything else?
No, not really. Most of the other stuff is probably going to be reserved for K-props for VIP, but some of the stuff that I gave out already is where I like taking pitcher metrics and then applying that and then getting first 5 action out of it as well, because strikeouts and pitcher performance in the first 5 don't always 100% correlate. So like, for example, you can have a guy that Reaver San Martin did in his first start against the Padres, where he struck out 6 guys, but he also gave up 5 earned runs. That's more, so they're not always 100% related. But if you do have one where there's some really good metrics and a hitter's umpire, you can use that, and so on and so forth, which is why I gave out the over for the Cubs and for the Braves, because Marquez is behind the plate. Just when stuff like that happens, and unless you have pitchers that have pinpoint accuracy, Leiter Jr. does not. Morton is okay so far this year. Then that just leads to just an extra little pitch here, pitch there, walk here, walk there, and then guys got to start putting the ball over the plate.
He's also nowhere near as good as his little brother.
No.
His little brother's like that. He is not.
One last thing for the MLB before we get to the NBA. How much do you hate like what the Giants are doing today with Long, the bullpen starts? Or do you help that finds it in capping, or how do you cap that differently, or do you just throw that game out the window quickly?
Usually it's thrown out on that side because there's normally no K-prop line anyway. So, or
I was just saying, or in general, baseball.
Yeah, in general,
I got a question. Where was Gabe Kapler before he was with the Giants?
Bro, we don't have to talk about this, man.
Because I keep forgetting. Do you remember where he was?
Rex?
Oh, okay. They just let him go for nothing, huh?
He hasn't done shit yet, so it's all good. Well, Spin Doc, we appreciate you joining us today. Make sure to give him a follow. Get on that tout play. Let's talk about the NBA so we don't get fined, Sosa.
Let's get into it, man. First game of the night. Bucks Bulls.
Bucks win.
Yeah, pretty easy. Bucks win. At the crib, should close it out. 12's a lot of points. Even though I think they're better than them by more than that. It's just Bucks win. Grayson Allen hits 3 threes. That's pretty much all I got with that one.
They
I
were
thought Spin was staying for basketball.
no, he had to bounce. The one that I like in this one, he had to force my action in it, would be, I guess, Io to Sumo over 10.5 points and minus 106 just because of the garbage time he'll get in the late third, fourth quarter. I mean, who else would the Bucks play at the point at that point? Or is he just going to have to play starters minutes with Caruso out? Or is that the issue that I'll run into on that one?
I think the Samu has actually earned the minutes, especially with Kobe White not playing particularly well. He's not really doing anything. So
That's why I guess Kobe
like
White
that.
would be the second guy, but his props aren't listed anywhere.
Yeah, I like. No, Io's not listed or Kobe.
No, Kobe isn't listed anywhere. Io's over 10.5 points at minus 105 on my
I
book
like that.
currently.
I
I
definitely
don't know if I like it that much though. That's where I'm more reliant on him getting those minutes once it's out and early. And I don't really want to rely on him on the road in the second point as well. This is where he's not a guy you target on the road, but with the increased minutes, I was expecting maybe a 12.5 number here.
Yeah, at 10.5, I like. What's his assist number? Because like I said, I didn't cap any. See, trying to cap props or stuff for games where you think it might be a blowout or it could end up being a close game, and it's just tough for me.
5.5 plus 115.
I mean, I think Milwaukee first half might be the play that I'm looking at that might could find some value in Milwaukee first half. Milwaukee first half, I think it's like minus 6.5, 7.5. They've been so much better than them though these last two games. You got to think that Milwaukee goes home and cranks it up even more.
Yeah.
So
let's get to the Warriors, the Nuggets. Maybe we can get a little bit more pushback because we can talk the spread here in this one because we had two different people drop their best bet of the day, and it was both on the spread, and they're contradicting of each other. So Sosa, if you had a free play, if you had to lay it on a side, or if you're actually locked one in on this, where are you going spread wise?
Warriors by 15, at least.
So I think you're going against our man Jerry. He's the one who dropped the Nuggets.
Oh yeah, Joe. I hope you ain't actually
from H-Town dropped the
I hope you ain't actually bet that though, Jer, because that's a donation. Them boys getting packed up tonight, my boy. It's over. It's done. They'll be down by 15 by half. That shit's a rap ski. They're gonna beat the brakes off them. They let them win the last game. They literally let Denver win the last game. Sorry to break the news to you, my boy. I'm sorry. Sorry to break the news to you, my brother. They was being nice. They about to escort them off the premises tonight. You know, like when the bouncer pick you up and just throw you out the club. That's what's going to happen. Jokic and his brothers. It's over. It's done. Minus 14.5. What's the line on that? It's probably not even that good, to be honest with you. Alternate spread. We're going to go with Golden State minus 14.5. That's plus 200. Plus 200, I like that.
Ooh.
Beat the shit out them boys.
That's two plays over plus 200 from Sosa on this show so far. Both straight. We don't parlay.
That's all for me.
I was about to say, when we're looking at player props here as well, you got Steph over 27.5. Not a bad look, but once again, if Sosa's liking him to win by 14.5, he ain't getting many minutes in that fourth quarter here. I like the angle that I need money drop. Where
it should not be close. It shouldn't be close, bro. Back at home, this shouldn't be close.
But I do respect Drew's angle saying everyone expected the Sixers to close it out after the Nuggets got the gimme game like the Raptors did, and it got a lot more interesting than it should have, sitting right around this same exact number.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at if you take a deeper look into the last game, right? The the energy players are who got them, or who won the game for them, right? The energy guys, the guys who played better at the crib. DeMarcus Cousins 10, Jeff Green 10, or Jermichael Green 10 or 7. But yeah, Bones had 15. Bench guys don't. He's not going to perform that way in Golden State. I mean, he might play well, but he's not giving you those big moment threes where he's launching it from 30. I don't think so. Also, I believe Steph Curry's starting tonight. He's no longer 6-man Curry.
So if you parlay Clay and Steph both to make over 3.5 threes, you get that at plus 150. I think I like that.
And just for reference, what was the score of the 2 games in Golden State to start the series? Do you remember?
A lot to a little, a lot to a
They
little.
won the first game by 16 and the second game by 20. Yeah, I said minus 14.5, right? At least. And come on, bro. They was in Denver. They back at the crib. This finna be a smoke out.
Not much else to say other than that. We started off today's show with the Champions League match. Then we got into the Serie A match. We are joined by Spin Doc Sports to break down the full MLB slate. That's where most of today's episode was at. And then we just wrapped it up with the NBA games. Always be careful with the props when they're blowouts like potentials tonight. We hope everyone cashes those tickets. So anything else you want to say?
Not really, man. Let's have a wonderful Wednesday.
Yes, sir. Make sure to hit up that Wise Guys Diamond Club DM. We'll be back live tomorrow. We hope everyone has a good one. Give us that like, give us that subscribe, retweet, and we're out.